This is Normal Station by Captain Nestorius. Prologue, March 5th, 1919. As I stepped off the train onto the platform at Normal Station, on the outskirts of Memphis, Tennessee, my stomach began to growl. I had not eaten breakfast yet. My head swam with coffee as I hefted my suitcase in either arm. Everything I had left in the world was with me in this strange country. I felt awkward to not be wearing my uniform, which was folded up in the bottom of the suitcase in my right hand. The absence of my pistol holster from my belt did not help either. However, the small satchel strapped tightly to my back was some comfort. The disguise was needed. The Great War was not far in the past. My rank of field marshal in the Royal Hungarian Honved still burned brightly in my own mind. A small brick structure on a wooden platform stood next to the train tracks, as fields stretched out to the south, with houses and copses of trees dotted across them. Two young men carried the luggage of a young lady as they hurried towards official-looking buildings on the college campus across the tracks to the north. Crossing the platform, I glanced to either side circumspectly. The tension of exiting a train nearly always drove me to madness these days, 40 years after the explosion which scarred my face as a child, and I still cannot forget the day of the bombing. Damn Turks! The good doctor would be able to help me, though. The good doctor would fix me right up. I'd come a long way to finally meet him, to receive succor under his care. I would not let my childhood fear of exiting trains stop me from reaching his house, my new home. But the madness did always come after leaving a train. A small boy yelled at me in a strange accent as he shoved a folded wad of paper at me. "Get your paper here, sir!" I did not know what dialect he was speaking, but it was no English I knew. My thick Austrian accent would give me away if I responded, so I quickly turned from him, stepping from the platform into the dirt road. Before me, specters of the past began to creep out from the shadows crossing the road. Had the boy been there at all? My time in Mongolia had been well spent, but a proper solution was needed. When the war had gone all wrong after the Americans entered, the steppes of the East had become a home of solace for me. The wild open steppes spoke to me. The emptiness allowed my mind to cool for a time. It allowed me to forget the horrors which I had inflicted upon the world. I allowed me to glimpse the mystical city of Shambhala, and I must return. The good doctor claimed to have a way to return to that magical place. He had sent but a sample of his concoction through the post, but that one sip had been pure bliss. That one sip had opened the gilded gates wide to Shambhala. The good doctor promised me he could help. He promised asylum from the demons hunting my every step. He promised a cure for my madness, for a passage into bliss. All the dead had come to follow me everywhere I went. They lined the streets, watching, waiting. Slowly filing out of back alleys and open doorways, these phantoms dogged me everywhere now. I saw a young boy and a girl cross the street, dragging heavy chains connected to their feet, their throats, but gaping red maws. Marks of my service, my commitment. They had been prisoners. I had released them to death's sweet embrace. It had been the only way. I saw them. I knew them. I had seen them before. They were but two, though. More of the dead came shuffling from the dark recesses of the few buildings scattered by the station. A cobbler I'd known as a lad, my first victim, peeked his head out from the bushes. More and more would appear, if I did not find solace soon. A woman with half her face missing approached me and passed through my body. A cold chill ran up from my toes and out from my fingers. I had to hurry, nearly running now. These demons of the past would not stop me. I must reach the good doctor. Passers-by on the street stared at me as I rushed by, heavily laden with my baggage. An old farmer with a cart yelled something at me. I could not make out the words. The accent was strange, drawl, peaked with colloquial nuance, like the boys. The doctor's house was not far now, but the rattling of chains grew louder in my ears. The good doctor would save me. He had an elixir which would allow me to return. He did, I was sure. The doctor's letter had spoken of a cure to my afflictions, a cure to my madness, a pathway to Shambhala. I should be reached. It should be reached. It could be found once again. It could. Running now, I turned the corner, searching frantically for the streets described to me. A small shack hid behind dense foliage to my left. A large white mansion on a small rise appeared through the trees to my right. Could it be? The small wooden street sign read, Carnes. Glancing back, I saw my victims following. They crept ever closer, with outstretched arms, each seemingly wishing to touch me, to pass through me as the woman with half a face had. I turned the corner, running as fast as I could while still carrying my luggage. The good doctor would know what to do. He had an elixir. He did. I would return. I was sure of it. Shambhala could be found once again. The gilded gates were not locked forever. Not to a scholar such as I, Field Marshal Gustav Dorlovich, the leading expert in Eastern religions and cultures in all of Europe. I would find the gilded gates flung wide open for me as I returned. I would! Servants' quarters in a small barn sat on the side of the street, not far from the large white house on the hill, while just across the street, from the entrance to the main drive, lay a cemetery, just a few gravestones on a small rise. The death had gathered there to watch me as I raced towards the front of the house, missing limbs, full of bullet holes, skulls, crushed beyond recognition. They would wait for me. They would wait!